So yesterday and the day before yesterday, few days we discussed about what is the eligibility for taking up Vedi sadhana bhakti. So first eligibility is attraction to Krishna's service. So even if one is deficient in knowledge or renunciation, if he has any attraction to the service, to serving Krishna, he is qualified to begin. So how can one obtain the service? By associating with Krishna's devotee. Okay, so or you can say by Akyal Sukriti. So that's what we also discuss. So now today what we are going to discuss. Sorry, I was really busy today, but so I could not edit this presentation. There are so many fonts issues. So please tolerate. So this is Krishna. So eligibility for Krishna consciousness. So grades of eligibility to advance. Stronger one's attraction to KC, more one is qualified to begin and advance in sadhana. So stronger one's attraction to Krishna consciousness, more one is qualified to begin and advance in sadhana. So our attraction should be very strong, and that attraction will come how? So when you do more hearing and chanting. So that is like a cycle. To eat something you need energy, and when you have energy you can eat. This is like that. But to trigger with, what is there? Agya Sukriti. So in Vedi sadhana, how does one's attraction to Krishna's service arise? So we saw yesterday that, so for this the impetus is Shastra and Guru, the order of the Guru. Stronger one's faith in and knowledge of Shastra, stronger is one's attraction, and thus the more eligible he is to advance. So our faith is very important, and knowledge is also important. So if you want to go anywhere, faith is very, very important. That's why we had one session. We always discuss this: faith or no faith, fact is fact. Whether you have faith or no faith, but fact is fact. So this is a statement of Srila Prabhupada, and from that we have one presentation, one session completely dedicated for this: faith or no faith, fact is fact. So that we discuss in basic course. So the stronger one's faith in and knowledge of Shastra, stronger is one's attraction, and thus more eligible he is to advance. So that is very important point. So how he can, what level he can advance? So eligibility of the candidate for advancing is devotional service. So he can advance in 3 different levels. So lowest is Kanishta. So this comes in Bhagavad Gita 4.39 or 40, somewhere it comes. In purport, Prabhupada is nicely written that so eligibility of candidate for advancing devotional service. So lowest is Kanishta. So Kanishta is lowest. So what is the situation of Kanishta Adhikari? So Kanishta, so faith is weak and easily swayed. So in the Kanishta stage, we'll discuss that. So what happened? Your knowledge in Shastra is not very very strong. So if someone will come and some other person will tell you some philosophy, you may be convinced by him. You start following other philosophy, other so-called philosophy. So your faith is very weak. So knowledge weak and cannot offer argument to opposing opinion. Someone come and convince you, will be convinced. Rather than convincing, you will be convinced. So that is the difference. So Madhyam Adhikari, so they are convinced in Shastra. Okay. So their knowledge is good, but can't always defeat opposing opinion. So that's why they make four kind of relationship, Madhyam Adhikari. So they makes the friendship with equal, they accept the knowledge from the superior, show the mercy towards neophyte, and fourth is stay away from envious people. So these are the four kind of relationship. Of course, we discuss in Act of Instruction. If you have attended that series, this had come. And third level, Uttama. So everyone should aspire to reach at Uttama Adhikari level. So Uttama Adhikari, the faith is strong and convinced. Okay. Madhyam Adhikari is convinced, but Uttama Adhikari's faith is strong and convinced. So knowledge is strong, can convince opposing opinion. Okay. So this is the different levels of advancement we can have while performing the bhakti. Now let's start with third chapter. So on account of his association with Mahatma, or great soul, 100% engage in devotional service of the Lord, and one may attain little bit of attraction for Sri Krishna. What happened? On account of his association with Mahatma, for great souls, 100% engage in devotional service of the Lord, one may attain little bit attraction for Krishna. But at the same time, one may remain very much attached to fruitive activities and material sense enjoyment and not be prepared to undergo different type of renunciation. So, we see many people, they come and associate with devotee, they practice bhakti, but they cannot give up their mentality of fruity mentality. They are still attracted by material allurements. They are allured by material world. Still, they want to have a movie and all. Means they want to keep everything together. Okay. So what happened? They remain very much attached to fruitive activities and material sense enjoyment and not be prepared to undergo different type of renunciation. Hope this sentence is very clear. So in the beginning, someone come in touch with Mahatma and he may engage. Our great soul 100% engage in devotional service of the Lord. So, or if someone come in touch with some great soul who is very much attached, engage in the service of Krishna 100%. So he developed little attraction for Krishna. And what happened? Parallelly, he can have. He might be keeping the fruitive activities and material sense enjoyment and not prepared to undergo different type of renunciation. Okay, so hope this sentence is very clear. Such a person, if he has unflinching attraction to Krishna, becomes an eligible candidate for discharging devotional service. So, but we have seen, some persons say that they want to do everything, but they only worship Krishna. So a few days ago, I spoke with one of our supporters. They are not, full-fledged that way practicing devotional service. They do really material things, but they say, हम सिर्फ भगवान कृष्ण को ही मानते हैं, किसी और को नहीं मानते. Okay, so such a person, if he has unflinching attraction to Krishna, become an eligible candidate for discharging devotional service. Okay, so this attraction for Krishna consciousness in association with pure devotee, this attraction for Krishna consciousness in association with pure devotee is the sign of great fortune. If you have that attraction, okay, parallelly, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturveda bhajante mam jana sukritana arjuna artha tikyasu ganeshya parasarsam. Ganeshya parasarsam. So four kind of people approach Krishna. One who is in the need of arthati, one who is in difficulty, one who is in the need of money, And one who is jigyasu, he want to have knowledge, but he doesn't want to implement. One is jnani, he acquired knowledge for, for implying in his life. So they have arthati, jigyasu, and artho. They have material distance. That's why they are accepting bhakti. But that is not wrong. But that will, if we stay at that level only, will not be able to advance. But still, the attraction is only for Krishna. That's why they are fortunate. That's what Krishna says. Udara sarva eveti mam evanuttamam gati. He says, Jnanino atyartham. Very nicely says. So after this verse, he says, Chaturvida Bhajante Vami says, Tesam Jnani Nitya Yukta Eke Bhaktir Vishishyate Priyo Hi Jnanino Atyarth Jnanino Atyarthamaham Sacham Mama Priya. तो बोलते हैं, of this the one who is in full knowledge, who is always engaged in pure devotional service, is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to him. So pure devotee is best. So we have to advance, other at a different level. So like we have a goal to reach 100 floor. While someone is going by climbing, of course will not use stairs to go on 100 floor. But someone might go in the first step, someone might be in 10th step, someone might be 20th, someone 99th. So they are on the same path but at different level. These people, arthati, artho, jigyasu at different level. That's why he's saying, Udara sarva eveti jnanitvam atmam atmev mematam nastitahi sayuktatvam mam evanuttamam gati. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous soul. All are magnanimous. They are really magnanimous. Udara, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self, being engaged in my devotional service. Being engaged in my devotional service is sure to attain me the highest and most perfect goal. So that is the thing. Then he says, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 10th verse. Kamo sarva kamo va moksa kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusam param. Yajate means worship. Okay. Yajeta. Worship. The person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring for liberation, must always by all means worship the Supreme Whole, person of God. This is appreciated. Okay, you may have desire, don't go to other demigods. That's what Krishna says in the next verse, that out of those, artho arthati jigyasu jnani. Artho arthati jigyasu jnani. So what Krishna said, jnani is the best. Okay. Jnani, all are best, all are good, magnanimous, but jnani is the most dearest to him. And what he says in the next, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatva sudhota. But out of those jnani are most dear, is very dear to Krishna. It's dear to Krishna. That's what he says. You see, 17th verse. Tesam jnani nityayukto. Of this, the one who is engaged in full knowledge, one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him. That is dear to him. So now, when Krishna says best, so there are best, more best, and most best also. ऐसे भी stage आ सकते हैं. So then Krishna says in 4.3 that I think, sorry, not 18.63 and 64, somebody says. So I have told you Guhya, Guhyatara and Guhyatamam. So he says, till now I have told you Guhya and Guhyatara knowledge. So Guhya means confidential, Guhyatara means more confidential, And Guhyatama means most confidence. So same with for Krishna, best, more best, and most best can be existing. So Jnani is the best, okay, and at the same time he should be engaged in devotional service. That is the condition. All are magnanimous, but he says then, Bhonam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadite Vasudevam Sarvam Samahatma Durlabha. So after many birth and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrender unto me. After many birth and death, he who is actually in knowledge surrender unto Krishna, knowing him to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So, but there are so many people who approach to demigods. So for what? About why? Because tamas teste ritagyanam prapatyutya niyata tam tam niyamastaya prakriti niyatasvaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desire surrender into demigods. There are some people whose intelligence is stolen. They approach demigods and follow the particular rules and regulation of worshipping according to their own nature. So what Krishna says about them? For them also, Krishna stays in everyone of heart as a Paramatma. He inspires. He make his faith steady in particular demigod. That's what he says. So that he can properly worship that particular demigod. And when he says, endowed with such a faith, what happened that he worshipped demigod and he achieved desired result. But actually, these benefits are bestowed by Krishna alone. Next verse he says, Antavantu phalam tesam tadbhavati alpametasam devan devyejo yanti madbhanta yanti mamupi. This is men of small intelligence worship demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. So in the, I think 7.20, Prabhupada wrote, those whose intelligence is stolen, they approach demigod. And here is saying, those intelligence is less, small, they worship demigod. So 100% intelligence hona chahiye, thoda chala gaya, so small intelligent person, you can say that way. And their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to planet of demigods, but my devotee ultimately reach my supreme. So it is said, those who worship demigods, they are alpa medasa, less intelligent, or whose intelligence is maya kamesh teste ritak jnanam prapadyante anyadeva. Kamesh teste ritak jnana. So one whose knowledge or intelligence is stolen. So knowledge is stolen means indirectly intelligence is stolen because intelligence works based on knowledge. Okay, that's why this attraction for Krishna in association with pure devotee is the sign of great fortune. Why? By great fortune, then you can say this. Krishna says all kind of people come, but once someone come to the conclusion that Vasudevam Sarvam Iti Samahatma Sudharlava. So having a conclusion that Vasudeva is Sarvasva. Okay, Samahatma is Sudurlava. Is Sudurlava. Su means Durlava means rare. Su means very rare. Okay. So that's why person who has developed attraction for Krishna is it's called very fortunate person, or that is a sign of great fortune. So it is confirmed by the Lord Chaitanya that only fortunate person, by the mercy of both bona fide spiritual master and Krishna, will get the seat of devotional service. What is that verse? Brahmande bhamite kona bhagyavan che Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata viche. So if someone is roaming throughout the Brahmanda, and out of them there may be one fortunate soul who will get the Bhakti Lata, beach, seed of devotional creeper by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So in this connection, Lord Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 20th chapter, verse 8, my dear Uddhava, only by exceptional fortune does someone become attracted to me. And even if one is not completely detached from futile activities or is not completely attached to devotional service, such a service is quickly effective, becomes very, very effective. So you can read that 11th canto, Okay, 11th canto, 20th chapter, verse 8. It's very wonderful purport. Prabhupada's disciple is written. So if somehow or other one gets the association, so this is the verse. If somehow or other and chanting my glories, such a person being neither disgusted with nor very much attached to material life should achieve perfection through the path of love service. He says here that if somehow or other one gets association of pure devotees of Lord and hear from them the transcendental message of Lord Krishna, then one has the chance to become devotee of Lord. As mentioned in the previous verse, those who become disgusted with material life take to impersonal philosophical speculation. If you remember, where we discuss. Yesterday we discussed about there are two aspects of material enjoyment. One, enjoy too much material enjoyment, material sense. One undergoes so much material sense gratification, and after doing so much material sense gratification, still he does not feel satisfied. Then he end up in impersonalism. So that's what that sentence is substantiated here. As mentioned in the previous verse, those who become previous verse it is said. Anyway, that's not the point. Otherwise, we'll distracted. So, as mentioned in previous verse, those who become disgusted with material life take to impersonal philosophical speculation and religiously try to stamp out the trace of personal existence. Okay. So, those who are still attached to material sense gratification try to purify themselves by offering the fruits of their ordinary activities in the Supreme. A first-class candidate for pure devotional service, on the other hand, is neither completely disgusted with nor attached to material life. He does not desire to pursue ordinary material existence any further because it cannot avoid real happiness. Nevertheless, a candidate for devotional service does not give up all hope for perfecting personal existence. Person who avoids the two extreme of material attachment and impersonal reaction to material attachment to somehow or other get the association of pure devotees faithfully hearing their message is good candidate for who is not in too extreme and who somehow or other gets the association of pure devotees. Faithfully hearing their message is good candidate for going back to God as described here by the Lord. So anyway, so hope you got this. Or they are good candidate, this kind of people. So now, basically, we are talking about advancement. So there are three levels of devotee, three different stages we can enter. Devotee may be divided into three classes. That's what we were seeing here. Uttama. So Uttamadhikari, so Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. So श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्म कृत हुए. Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna will automatically perform all subsidiary activity. Such a faith is favorable to discharge a devotional service. So in the previous verse we saw faith is very important. Okay, faith. So we have taken faith. So now even if you go through Bhagavad Gita again, anyway we are discussing Bhagavad Gita also. So 4th chapter, verse number 39 or 40. Agyasya Shraddha Dhanasya, that verse संशयात्म विनश्यति. नायम लोकोऽस्ति न परो न सुखम. न सुखम संशयात्मनः. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scripture do not attain God consciousness. They will fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in it. Very, very important. In previous verse, it is said, Sraddhavalam labhate jnanam tat paraset indriya jnana labdha parham santim acharina digachati. The faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge, who subdue his senses, is eligible to achieve such knowledge and have achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. As soon as he attains that knowledge, achieve supreme peace. Again, in the 9th chapter, 3rd verse, it is said in 9th chapter that about having ashraddha dhana purusa dharmasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartanti mrityu samsara vartamani. Those who are not faithful in devotional service cannot attain me. So faith is very important. So Krishna is again and again emphasizing on faith. O conqueror of enemy, therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So Shraddha is very, very powerful. Faith. Okay. So then again Chaitanya Charitamrita it says Shraddha sabde vishwasa kahe Sudhara Nishchay, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Kruta Hoy. So, Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically perform all subsidiary activities. Automatically perform all subsidiary activities. So, other activity will consider that they are done. It is said, just like otherwise पूरा भगवद गीता ही हो जाएगा. But you should know how to correlate the shastra. यावान अर्थ उदान पाने सर्वस्व संपृक्त दे तावान सर्वे सुवे देशु ब्राह्मणेषु विजानिता. So yavan अर्थ उदान पाने. So he said that all the purpose sought by small well can at once be sought by great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of the Veda can be sought to one who knows the purpose behind him. So if someone knows that purpose of Veda is to know to serve God, then other activities are considered as done. That's what Krishna ensure in 18.66 Sarva Dharman Paritajya Mam Ekam Saranam Praja Hritam Sarva Papitam Mokshasya Masu. Just surrender unto me and do what I am saying. And delivering from the reaction of all sinful activity, don't fear. So Krishna gives assurance. Okay. So that's why the faith is very important. So that having a faith that rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically perform all subsidiary activities. Such a faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. So faith means conviction that the goal of life is to please Krishna and abandon all other desires. So that is called faith. Just like love means, love is only applicable to Krishna. And if you apply love somewhere else without Krishna, then that is lust. Okay. Even if you are applying love, love means only for Krishna. Hope you are not able to read this. So, three type of devotee. While giving instruction to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya divided devotional service into three categories based on Shraddha. faith. So श्रद्धावान जन होय, भक्ति अधिकारी, उत्तम मध्यम कनिष्ठ, श्रद्धा अनुसारी. So one becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, the platform for development of his Shraddha, faith. So that was the instruction given to Sanatana Goswami at Allahabad. Three types of devotee. Kanishta is a Harinam initiated, trying to chant. Madhyama, Brahman initiated, fully engaged in seva. Uttama, very advanced in case, not interested in blaspheming others. Heart completely clean. There are three types of, these are the types of devotee. Hope you can remember. Harinam initiated, trying to chant. Madhyama means Brahman initiated, fully engaged in seva. And Uttama means very advanced in case, not interested in blaspheming others. Heart completely clean. So let's start with neophyte devotee. Okay, so neophyte devotee means Kanishta Bhagavat, Kanishta Bhakta. So Aprakruta Bhakta or materialistic devotees. So they does not purposefully study the Shastra, does not try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service, does not show proper respect to advanced devotees. He may, however, follow the regulative principle learned from his spiritual master or from his family who worship the deity. He is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is Bhakta Praya, neophyte devotee. This is from, I think, that Nimi. They are instructing to Vasudeva. So I'm repeating again. So in Prakruta stage, someone does not study Shastra. If you don't study Shastra, I don't know whether all of you might have realized or not, but if you don't read properly, and if you continue serving, your consciousness will not be able to maintain. You will think that you are the doer rather than you are servant. If we continue doing service, what will happen? We generally end up that I am the doer rather than saying I am servant. So that consciousness needs to be changed. Consciousness is very, very important. So once upon a time, I think last few months, when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was about to depart from this world, so he invited one person for kirtan. So then he invited that person, and his disciple tried to bring good singer. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur rejected them. Those who were singing. He said, "Unko bulao, ye bhakt ko bulao." He was not singing nicely. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he heard him. So nicely he was hearing. So what he was trying to teach, that it's not about how nicely you are singing. What is important is what consciousness you are singing. Okay, so this is very, very important. And someone is cooking by having some different thought, it affects the devotee. Once upon a time, one of the ISKCON temple, when Prabhupada was personally present. So what happened that suddenly those who were very good devotees, they got very bad thoughts. So then they went to Prabhupada and they were wondering why it suddenly happened. So then Srila Prabhupada tried to figure out. Then he said, just check on the cook what he's doing. When they went and checked, cook has so many psychological problems and he has some illicit affair. So his consciousness was always about that kind. So consciousness is very important even while cooking for Krishna. course, Krishna accept that is important, but we accept those things, then even Krishna can take, we will not be able to digest. So once upon a time, what happened? I think, I don't know who told this. Yeah, somewhere I have heard that, but that is this is authentic. So that's why I'm telling that one day one prostitute came and she gave money to temple, but devotees were not aware that that money has come from by prostitution and all. So they were offering it to Krishna. I think in ISKCON temple or some other temple it happened. I don't know. They were offering it to Krishna. After that, many devotees at that, and they started getting lusty thoughts. So then devotees were wondering. So then, I think Krishna came in a dream and told them something like that. That I think who told, I could not remember. Some devotee or so they said that Krishna can eat, Krishna can digest anything, but we don't have capacity to digest. Okay. Now I remember. I read this in pastime of Lord Jagannath. So Jagannath came in the dream of the devotee and said, I can digest anything, but you cannot. So that's it. It's very important that having a proper consciousness, while we should not eat anywhere and everywhere. The consciousness should be very proper. Okay. So to maintain those consciousness, so just not going to the point of eating and it's about kirtan, everything. So we need to read Shastra, as we have discussed in Power of Habit session, that we can change our habit, thinking process, thinking pattern by what we are hearing, whom we are associating, what we are reading, what we are watching. Okay, what we are reading, what we are hearing, what we are watching, whom we are associating. That's very, very important. That's why we have, our consciousness is already occupied by all those thoughts. At least mine. I'm not talking about others, but at least mine. So to change that, we need to at least should read that Shastra. And even someone has rewritten the script, erased the wrong script and rewritten another proper script. To maintain those script, they need to going on reading. So reading and hearing is very, very powerful, very, very important. I remember if I just recite 20 verses of Bhagavad Gita daily, just recite without, I'm not talking about understanding at all, just I recite, I feel really, that I feel that I'm empowered. That's my experience. So it may be, everyone has different experience. If you want, you can share later. But that's why reading Shastra is very, very powerful. It is said someone just recite Bhagavad Gita, their intelligence will be very sharpened just by reciting. So Kanishtas generally avoid reading Shastra. So their consciousness, they just respect devotees. Sorry, respect Krishna. They don't respect devotees. So that is the problem with them. They does not try to understand the actual standard of pure devotional service. So if they don't read only, or if they don't try to even hear also, then read means here we consider reading also. So how they will understand what is the standard of pure devotional service? They will not. And if they don't read Shastra, how do they understand what is the importance of advanced devotee? How to respect advanced devotee? They will not understand. Okay. So he may, however, follow so they will follow regulative principle. अच्छे से करेंगे, चार नियम पालन करेंगे, and okay, he chant, but consciousness is not that much advanced. Sometimes we see these things. Sometimes people don't know where to what to speak, where to speak, and all those things. So they just, so you have your relationship, then it is different thing. So, but it's very, very important. So he is to be considered on the material platform, although he is trying to advance in devotional service. Such a person is bhaktya praya neophyte devotee. So, these are the characteristics of Kanishta Adhikari. Mistake material expertise to be advancement in devotional service. So if someone is speaking, giving so nice class, someone is singing so nicely, and someone is looking so nicely, okay, and they just have an external look, they see everything. Sometimes devotees have criteria, and so even the marriage, all those things that okay, I want this kind of girl, I want this kind of boy to marry. You know, he should be like and they try to judge even after performing devotional service, they try to judge externally. So, but really they goes on, okay, sometimes even they accept gurus because of might be he has so many followers, that's why he accepts guru. ऐसा भी हो सकता है. Or he's foreigner guru, that's why he's accepting the guru. He sings nicely. I'm not talking about bhava. He sings nicely, that's why they accept. These are material expertise. So mistake material expertise to be advanced in devotional service. Okay, so Archana versus Bhajan. They just give importance to deity worship generally, and they don't know how to properly perform sadhana. Don't know. Consciousness of only deity in the temple. So they just, for them, everything is deity. That's not bad, but at the same time, they should not disrespect devotees. They should respect devotees. They should. Otherwise, offending devotees means hati mata. So they think high of himself. Think high of himself. So that is Kanishta Adhikari. So sometimes, disturb if Madhyam devotee criticize non-devotees of the Lord. So once upon a time, Srila Prabhupada said, he criticized materialist, and one of his disciples became agitated. And he wanted to leave Srila Prabhupada. He left Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I cannot help him, but whatever he said was fact. Okay. Anyway, so sometimes people get agitated if they criticize non-devotees. So Madhyam Adhikari, he might be doing with proper consciousness, because it is said Madhyam Adhikari is a preacher generally. Preacher means they know whom to preach, and Uttam Adhikari means he consider himself not devotees and consider everyone as a devotee, superior. Kanishta Adhikari means himself think that he is the best devotee. मैं बहुत ही कितना बड़ा भक्त हूँ. जैसे what is that? आपके भक्तों में सबसे बड़ा भक्त कौन है? Someone has made that song. That's why they get disturbed. They don't understand what's the intention of Madhyam Adhikari. So when some advanced devotee criticize others, that's benefit for them. So Kanishta Adhikari offends demigods. We should not offend demigods. Okay. Demigods are representative of God. They are servant of God. But yeah, we do not worship demigod, but it doesn't mean that we do not respect. We do not respect demigod. Doesn't mean that. Sorry, we do not worship demigods. Doesn't mean that we don't respect him. Respect them. You must respect demigods because they are representative of God. And he does not appreciate the paraphernalia of the Lord. उनको सिर्फ भगवान से मतलब है, उनकी जो चीजें उससे कोई मतलब नहीं. So typically the Kanishta Adhikari is eager to engage his materialistic qualification in the service of the Lord, mistaking such a material expertise to be the signs of advanced devotion. Okay, so this is beginning stage. Okay, it's like, but by continuing to serve the Supreme Lord, the devotee engage in propagating the Lord's mission. But by continuing to serve the Supreme Lord and the devotees engage in propagating the Lord's mission, the Kanishta Adhikari also advance in his realization to come to the stage of dedicating his activities to helping more advanced Vaishnava. So how Kanishta Adhikari can advance? By serving the Supreme Lord and by assisting, helping, or serving the devotees engaged in propagating the Lord's mission. So how so many Prabhupada disciples were got advanced so quickly? They made rapid advancement, rapid fire advancement, I should say. Okay, so in a few years they become so advanced. They propagated the movement like a rapid fire forest. How can they do? Why? Because they have so much faith on Srila Prabhupada. Whether they had faith on Krishna, that's different thing, but they had a lot of faith in Prabhupada. They have attachment for Prabhupada. Okay, so, and they assisted the one of pure devotee of the Lord. Just by assisting pure devotee of the Lord, someone can advance. Why? Because they immediately receive the mercy of the Lord and predecessor acharyas. Okay, so even such a Kanishta Adhikaris can help ordinary living entities by their association. So Kanishta Adhikari can help the living entity. Since at least the Kanishta Adhikari have faith that Krishna is the supreme person of God. So Kanishta Adhikari is said, but having the good materialistic association is far better to have association of Kanishta Adhikari. Okay. So by continuing to serve the Supreme Lord and the devotees engage in propagating Lord's mission, Kanishta Adhikari also advance in realization, come to the stage of dedicating his activities to helping more advanced Vaishnava. So now Kanishta Adhikari, Kanishta devotees is angry or non-devotee is criticized. So anyway, what's the time now? 7:57. It's a long topic. I know I'll continue tomorrow. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna.